check it out. Suzume sent me a torque wrench to test. It's a 3/8 inch digital torque wrench. It'll do 5 to 100 foot-pounds or 3.8 to 135 Newton meters. Let's open this up and take a look at it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Okay, here's the box that this came in. It's sturdy enough, plastic. It's got a couple big clips on the front. And I did write my ranges on here, so when this is mixed with other torque wrenches, I know what range I can do. So 5 to 100 foot-pounds or 6.8 to 135 Newton meters. Inside, we have the torque wrench, screwdriver, and some basic directions. There was also a pack of batteries here, which I've installed. Simple installation. Use the enclosed screwdriver, 2 screws, 2 batteries go in, they're AAA, and just screwed that back down. The torque wrench is relatively small, therefore you're not going to get the big torques on this. So when it goes up to 100 foot-pounds, you're going to need to really give it a pull to do that. The interface is pretty straightforward. There's the 4 main buttons and a light button, all of which are explained in the directions. They do have a shorter version of this even, so if you need a really short one, and of course then they've got a longer one. And the directions are pretty basic, goes through some of the basic functionality. The main things that I want to do with this torque wrench are showing peak values and track. Those are the 2 modes. Peak value lets you pull on the torque wrench, and whatever the maximum number was, that's what it'll display until you clear that out. Versus the track mode just shows you what your current value is, and when you have a set point, then it has lights that start coming on in an audible sound through the speaker to let you know you're getting close, and then when you get to the torque you want, then it gives a nice steady tone. That worked great. I will show you how we use this out on the filter housing on my car. The basics, though, you just hit the C button and that gets it turned on. And as you can see, I have this set to 25, and the units are Newton meters. You can change the units down to inch pounds, foot pounds, and kilogram centimeters. The torque specification on my oil filter cap specifies 25 Newton meters. That's why I have this set. And I am in track mode now because I retightened it. Earlier I was in the peak mode. So I can just go, I don't know if I do this correctly. So I'll press and hold the U, and then I'll use the, there we go, till track comes on. Then I can use the buttons to go between the 2. Once in peak mode, I'll go ahead and hit C. That was the wrong button apparently. I'll hit U. There we go. You get that set. So when it gets back to the main screen, here we go. Now it's in peak mode. So as I torque something down, this will show me the maximum value that it read until I hit C, which then goes through a little clear and then sets it back to my set value. So we'll go ahead and set this back to track mode. There we go. So pretty simple interface. This is a light button, so it will display or shine a light on the background. We might be able to see that if I turn my lights off. We'll hit that. Yeah, so that lights up nicely so you can read that even if it's darker out. So pretty straightforward. Press the C button and hold it for 3 seconds and it powers the system down. This also has a 5-minute inactivity feature, so after 5 minutes it'll power itself down to save on the batteries. Nice little unit, packs up nicely in this case. It did come with a certification or calibration report. So each one of these that they do has a calibration report. Gives me just kind of an idea of how it was doing. And then they have a nice little stamp here, says it passed, and then they've got some specifications on here as well. So that's real nice. Got the sticker in here for that. Probably don't need to keep all of this in here, but for now I will. Packs up nicely. So now that I've kind of given an overview of this, let's head out to the garage and I will show you how I use this to measure the torque to remove the cap on my oil filter holder area, and then how I retorqued that back down to the appropriate torque in Newton meters. So let's head out to the garage. Out here in the garage, I want to use the wrench to remove the cap from the oil filter in my car. So I'm going to have it set to peak so that I know exactly how much force it's going to take this off. Here's the huge socket for the top of my oil filter area. We'll just attach this on. It's a 3/8 inch socket, and that's what this drive is. So we'll just go ahead and pull on this, and it went up over my 25 that I have it set to. That's why the red light came on. We'll take a look at that in a second. I didn't have much room to move the wrench where I had it set, so I just picked it up and moved it over and have a little more room here to swing that around. Taking a look at the setting on the wrench, we can see that the maximum setting, or the peak torque, was 35.82. So we'll just clear that with the C button. A little bit more than the 25 that it's supposed to be. So we'll flick this over into tighten mode and we'll just tighten this cap back down. I want to get this set back into track mode from peak mode. So I'll just go ahead and go into the U setting and click that over back to track. Now that we're in track mode, we'll go back and we have our 25 set. That's my peak, or the most that I want. That's what I want to track. So we'll just go ahead and tighten this up, and you'll see the green lights come on, and then we get the red saying that I'm at spec. So that works pretty well. We'll just take this off, and this is a good unit. It's set to the 25, and that's exactly what it told me. I'll go ahead and turn this off by holding the button. So for that little test, this torque wrench did exactly what I needed it to do. I was able to find out that I probably over-tightened it, the cap on my car, when I last changed the oil, but now that cap is on there at the perfect torque. It says right on the cap, 25 Newton meters. Anyway, if you need a little torque wrench, this is a nice little unit. It's not too expensive. I'll have a link down in the description where you can click on to get right to this and buy one for yourself off of Amazon. Anyway, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing. If there are other tools we should take a look at, throw those in the comments. Also, if there's a use that you have for a little torque wrench like this, put that in the comments. It is a little on the short side, so you're not going to get a lot of torque off this unless you're really, got some good cannons going. But for little jobs, I think get into spaces, so far it's worked great. Little quick release on top. Nice unit. And it just uses regular AAA batteries.